It's been 1 year since the Acolyte premiered, and despite only lasting for one season, certain aspects of the show have permanently changed Star Wars. Set at the tail end of the High Republic era, about 200 years before the events of Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the Acolyte tells a compelling story about Force-sensitive twins Osha and May Anisea. The twins had been raised by a coven of witches on the planet Brendok before the coven was wiped out following an encounter with 4 Jedi. The Acolyte was met with mixed reviews and fell victim to review bombing by people who thought the show was too woke. Setting aside any potential controversies, the Acolyte did a lot of fan service in terms of recanonizing some elements from Star Wars Legends continuity and bringing aspects of the High Republic book series to live action. If nothing else, the Acolyte experimented in a time period that was previously unexplored and tried to bring something new to the Star Wars galaxy. 1 year after its premiere, we're taking a look back at the Acolyte and highlighting the most notable changes it's made to the Star Wars franchise. It may not have been perfect, but it's still a key addition to the Star Wars mythos, as proven by these 10 important contributions. 10. Cortosis is now officially part of Star Wars canon. And it was introduced in the coolest way. Cortosis was a key part of the Sith's weaponry against the Jedi in the Legends continuity. Cortosis is useful in battle because it can temporarily disable lightsaber blades, potentially giving someone the upper hand. When introduced in the Acolyte Episode 5, the Stranger's helmet was shown to be made of cortosis when he headbutted multiple lightsabers. It was also shown in later episodes to work as a sensory deprivation headpiece, a power that wasn't in Legends. Not only did the Acolyte bring cortosis into canon, but it also improved it. We got our first look at a live-action Darth Plagueis. Though it's likely all we'll see of the famous Sith. It was suspected throughout the Acolyte's run that Kimir, the Stranger, wasn't the Sith Master, but instead an apprentice to a different Sith. While we never got confirmation, the Acolyte's finale showed Darth Plagueis on the planet where Kimir and Osha had been. This recanonized the fact that Plagueis was immune, though it hasn't brought in any other aspects from James Luceno's Legends novel, Darth Plagueis. It can be assumed that Plagueis would have played a larger role in later seasons of the Acolyte, but because the show was cancelled, it's unclear if we'll ever see the fan-favorite Sith on screen again. 8. Force Vergences played a major factor. And better defined what they were. It was explained that, in the Acolyte, a Force Vergence was felt on the planet Brendok, which initially brought 4 Jedi, Sol, Indara, Kelnaka, and Torbin, to the planet. Sol explained that a Vergence is a large concentration of Force energy and has a high concentration of midichlorians. It's known from other Force Vergences that they aren't associated with the dark side of the Force, such as the Cave of Evil on Dagobah, or the Mirror Cave on H2. Sol later explained to May and Osha that he believed their creation using the Force actually made the twins into a Force Vergence. 7. We learned the Night Sisters weren't the only witches in the galaxy. And this coven was just as interesting. The witches of Brendok weren't the most fleshed-out characters, and with the Acolyte's cancellation, many questions about them, their powers, and their origins still remain. The coven's leader, Mother Anisea, explained that the witches call their version of the Force, the Thread. We've also seen that the witches hold the power to possess others, as well as create life using the Force. While there is certainly a connection to be made with the Night Sisters of Dathomir, it's clear that the witches of Brendok were something else entirely. We finally saw how powerful a Wookiee Jedi is. And how terrifying they can be. Going into the Acolyte, it was unclear what role the Wookiee Jedi, Kelnaka, would play in the show. In fact, the show made us wait until Episode 7 to see just how powerful he was. After being possessed by the witches, Kelnaka attacks his fellow Jedi, nearly killing Sol and permanently disfiguring Torbin. The scene showcased how powerful Wookiee Jedi are, and how badly things could go if one of them fell to the dark side. While the reveal about the events on Brendok was disappointing, the duel between Kelnaka and the other 3 Jedi was definitely a highlight. 5. The Acolyte was the first Star Wars title to use a pop song in the end credits. Could this be a new trend? After the Acolyte Episode 7, the end credits included a pop song called The Power of Two by Victoria Monet. Written for the Acolyte, the song was meant to invoke the chants of the witches of Brendok and seems to hint that, as 2 parts of a Force Vergence, May and Osha will forever be at odds. The Power of Two is still the only pop song to be used in a Star Wars title. However, the first trailer for Andor Season 2 used the song The Revolution Starts Now by Steve Earle, indicating the tide may be turning when it comes to pop songs. 4. The creation of a Sith lightsaber was finally shown in live action. We've never seen a Kyber crystal bleed on screen before. The Acolyte's finale showed Osha fully embracing the dark side, visually marked by her bleeding Master Sol's lightsaber. This is the first time we've seen someone bleed a lightsaber on screen, though it's been shown before in comics. The process of turning a lightsaber's kyber crystal red requires physical touch between the crystal and the person turning it. By bleeding the kyber, the person injects their own dark side emotions of anger, pain, and fear into the crystal, forcing it to change color. Seeing the lightsaber change color in Osha's hand was a major highlight of the series. 3. The Acolyte brought back epic lightsaber battles. Similar to what was seen in the prequels, the lightsaber battles in the Acolyte are some of the best of the entire franchise. Not only do we see Kimir take out 7 Jedi on Kofar, but his rematch with Master Sol in the finale episode was one of the best lightsaber duels in recent memory. The battle between Kimir and the Jedi on Kofar felt reminiscent of other Jedi battles from the prequel era, more specifically the Battle of Geonosis. Seeing so many lightsabers in one place wasn't just engaging, it truly made Kimir's decimation of the Jedi that much more impressive. 2. The prequel's criticism of the Jedi is validated. The Acolyte showed the Jedi being overactive in politics. One of the biggest criticisms of the prequel-era Jedi Order was that they were far too involved in politics. We can see how these same criticisms took fruition 200 years earlier. In the Acolyte, we see Jedi Master Vanestra Rue having to play politics and trying desperately not to reveal many details about events that transpired on Brendok. Not only is this a bad look for the Jedi, but it also alludes to a larger problem with the Jedi Order. They can't be seen as the bad guy or admit to their mistakes.